Good morning. It's Robin Dunbar here. I'm the president and CEO of Grid Metals, and we are a Canadian exploration company focused in Manitoba for critical metals, primarily lithium and nickel-copper.
Robin, good to see you again. Thank you for the introduction. You're just back from PDAC. How was it for you?
It was a busy conference. Lots of people in town, which is always great. And we had a really interesting chance to meet with investors and industry people and analysts. So very useful conversations.
The gold companies are complaining that the critical minerals or the battery elements are eating their lunch. Did you feel that you were fated and lots of people looking you out for your lithium assets?
Not so much in the market. We're struggling a bit there, but certainly on the strategic side, in the supply chain for lithium, it's very evident that traders and downstream entities are looking to find supplies of lithium spodumene concentrate for their plants, and we saw no let up in that. So that was really interesting, and it tells you there's a market for what we're exploring for, which is really positive.
You hit a really interesting point there, talking about the kind of the industrial consumer, that end market having the interest, and yet you've also mentioned difficult market conditions. I've written some notes on one of my takeaways from the conference, and it was this dislocation between the appetite for industry and the long-term demand, and yet the kind of the current market conditions for juniors. There's this kind of this world of difference. Since we last spoke about 6 weeks ago, your share price has come down quite a chunk from 25 cents to 15 cents, 22 cents to 15 cents. Do you think that's related to the lithium price kind of continuing to weaken a bit, or is it just the fact that juniors are not feeling the love yet? They're a slightly unloved sector.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of factors. The lithium prices come off the boil a little bit for sure. There's some market weakness. There's probably some factors specific to our stock. I think in the lithium sector generally that, there's so many companies and so many projects that it's difficult for the market to sort through and say, these are the ones that are of merit. So I think the market is really valuing, clearly discoveries that are, dynamic, like something like PMET, and or companies that are near production or getting into production have really high valuations. So I think Grid's kind of in the group of smaller junior companies that projects in exploration development stage, and we have to continue to progress our projects and show that our project has merit, and we're advancing our project quickly. So that the onus is on us, and I think we're well positioned to do that, and we're not changing our strategy.
Good. Well, I've kind of dealt with the things which are beyond your control in this conversation so far. So let's look at the things which you are in control of. You've got these two new resource statements coming out. One for the nickel and the copper at Makwa Mayville, one for the Donner Lake lithium pegmatites, and you've been putting out drill results on the lithium pegmatites. Could you perhaps tell me how that is going in terms of the drilling and the advancement to that first resource?
Sure. Just on our base metal project, we are just in the final stages, and we're adjusting some of our metallurgical recoveries there that we're using in conjunction with the consultants. So, that is going to get completed over the next several weeks. So, we're hoping to see a larger resource there with more metal. So we're optimistic there. So, that'll be coming. On the lithium side, we are completing the drilling. So, we're going to be finished by the end of this month, and it just depends on how many more holes we drilled. So we have enough for a resource now. We will be we are in the process of selecting a consultant who's going to do the resource, and we'll try to get that out by mid-year. So, both the resource statements are coming along well, and on the lithium side, that'll be our initial or maiden resource, and we're hoping that's going to be between 5 and 10 million tons, so significant numbers, and actually a good number to help us with our kind of near-term goal of some toll mining, so that'll be sufficient for that. So we're really focused on getting that work completed.
Just to go back to Makwa Mayville, in terms of the timing, we're quite close to the end of Q1 now.
Yep.
So is it safe to say that resource update is going to come in Q2, or is it going to come up?
I think I'm pretty sure it'll come in Q2. The drilling's been done, the block model's been done. We're on our kind of second or third iteration there, and there's it's really applying your metal recoveries to the different grades of ore is really what we're down to now. So that's getting pretty technical, and we want to make it right, so that it's relevant. We think there's we want, when a third party comes to look at it, we want it to say they're not overestimating the amount of metal that they could recover from that the deposit. So it's important we get it right.
And presumably you've got a resource consultant that you're working there. It's not a shoe-in that it's going to be the same resource consultant that works on the lithium, but I would have
probably not, actually. Yeah. So we're using we're using Micon International on the for our resource, and we think we'll probably use a consultant that has more lithium experience on the lithium.
And sorry, let's go back to the lithium. You're talking about toll mining.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is the Tenko mine, which is owned by Sinomine, and they're in operation at the moment. And you've got the ground to the south and the east. The plan is toll mining.
Yeah, to start, that's our kind of goal. So,
what are the timelines associated with that?
So there's a couple of moving parts. Tenko has a current mill which is relatively small, and they are in the process of permitting for an expansion of that mill, and we are in the process of permitting to do, first of all, a bulk sample, so up to say 50,000 tons, and then the second step would be for toll milling, convert that advanced exploration permit into a mining permit. So it's a two-step process, and we're actually hoping to potentially get our mining license for toll milling as early as next year. So that's very, very fast. Our advanced exploration permit is completed. We haven't submitted it yet. We've had initial discussions with the government, but we want to do some consultation with our First Nation partners and make some adjustments to the permit. Then the first step is to, once you get that permit, do a bulk sample with the Tenko mine. We're pretty certain that the material we have will be able to be processed at Tenko, and because it's primarily spodumene,
and it's also presumably geological continuity. I mean, if you've got the property next door.
Yeah, we are more to the north, but you can tell in the just looking at the dikes that and we've done metallurgical work that it's mostly spodumene, and it'll be recoverable by flotation. So we've commissioned our independent metallurgical studies, so we'll be getting those results fairly soon as well. So just to confirm all this, and the good news is that Tenko's been very consistent with us. They're looking for feed, and they want to get it as early as possible. And even though the price has come off a bit, there's potential to make quite a bit of money on a relatively small mining operation if we can get our permits. So that's our real focus, to get that going and create some cash flow sooner than later for the company, while we continue exploration in the area. Yeah.
The timelines you're mentioning for those permits seems to be quite quick for for what is potentially a kind of a mining permit. Is that because do you think it's quicker because there's a critical or kind of a battery metals element to it, or is it just that the government regulatory kind of framework is supportive of job creation?
It's a supportive government environment right now. Being a critical metal doesn't hurt. Lithium, we're not looking at acid rock drainage, and I think most importantly, we're not looking at putting in a plant. So, and having tailings and that type of thing. So it's a much simpler operation and a relatively small scale operation. And the area that we're in is, it's been logged. We've already done all our baseline work. It's relatively low impact for a mining operation. So I think that is that's the biggest factor. I'm
always struck by that. There's this kind of Chinese mine operating in the middle of Canada. What's the conversation? Does the government want you to kind of look at downstream processing? What's Sinomine? Where's their mindset relative to exporting? Taking the mineral back to China.
Sure. Well, Sinomine is one of the largest chemical companies in China. And, the Canadian mine has been feeding their hydroxide plant in China. And, as they say to me, like there's no place to send the material, the spodumene concentrate in North America. They have told me and said publicly that they want to shift to become a supplier of spodumene concentrate and perhaps other products, more refined products into the North American market. So I think, they realize that in the current environment, that would benefit them. So, they're a very savvy company. But they kind of see the current tensions between Canadian companies and Chinese companies. They employ about 150 people in Southeast Manitoba. They've really been trying to be a good corporate citizen. And I think they'll take steps that they need to to fit in with the what's going on in North America. So yeah.
Thank you. So let's just focus on the news flow. Can you just kind of reiterate what your news flow is going to be and kind of how you see the catalysts for value growth in the coming months and the rest of the year?
Yeah. So our base metal project is the next big thing that coming is the resource estimate, and our position on that project is, we over time want to grow that. So, we're actually currently drilling some holes on the Mayville deposit right now, and on some, exploration targets to show that we have some scope to grow that project. So, we'll have on the base metal, the resource, we'll have some more drill holes. On the lithium, we're up to hole like 80 now. So we've got, quite a few holes to announce. And, we'll have things like our metallurgical report and progress on our permitting. And then we also have the project called the Falcon West property, which is, we announced that about a month ago. Really exciting greenstone belt with some significant lithium showings. And, in our press release there, we noted that we had got our hands on some drill holes that had been drilled in 2012 and had not been assayed or released to the market, although the assessment files had been reported. So we actually have the results of those drill holes coming as well. And that's a really interesting property. It's got some really high-grade lithium, as we noted in our first press release, and fits in really with our strategy to be a kind of the dominant junior in Southeast Manitoba, because that's a 100% owned project, and we think it's got lots of scope. So really on all three projects that we're actively working on, we got a lot of activity and drill holes and news. So we'll continue to progress as we go.
And hopefully one day the markets will take notice and
we certainly hope
get
so.
The bid.
Yeah, we'll just keep kicking on the door, banging on the door, and so that's sometimes that happens in the market. You just have to be persistent. So, certainly plan to be that.
Good. Well, good luck.
And I might just add that we've still got about $9 million in the treasury, so we're funded to continue our activity as well. So very important.
A very important point. Good. Robin, nice catching up with you. Thank you for the update, and good luck with the rest of the year.
Thank you very much, Merlin. Bye for now.